Hi, I'm Vicki Wright Hamilton, and welcome to Ignite. Are you ready to spark your passion and fuel that leadership journey? This is where ambition meets action and transformation begins. Let's light that fire and keep it burning. And today, we're going to do just that. This episode, we really want to talk about the fact that, look, we're at the end of 2024. Can you believe how fast time goes? We are looking at what do we need to do to prepare for change that's happening as we embrace 2025. What are the things that we need to consider? What should leaders be thinking about? Economy, consumers, customers, all the things that are part of that leadership segment. And I'm really excited today to have Ryan Cohen with me today to be able to talk about change. Welcome, Ryan.
Vicki, a sincere pleasure to be back on your show. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure when you're here. It's like bringing a friend back to the family. But let's talk. I'd love you to share with my audience as we're talking about leading in 2025. The only thing we know we can count on is change. We know that. And we have a lot of things that are happening with the new president. We got new economy. We have economy challenges. People are talking about inflation, interest rates. Companies are going to be selling businesses, products. What are the things leaders really ought to be concentrating on as they're looking at expanding in 2025?
That is a wonderful question, and it's obviously a hot topic this time of year. You're getting people ready to start making New Year's resolutions, both personally and on the business side of things. But what leaders must first do is look in the mirror. If they want to get ready for change in the upcoming year, they have to start with mindset, their personal mindset. In my program, where I walk people through the 5 M's, the first M is mindset, and that is where people have to do it. We have to understand that change is here, change is coming, and change is going to happen again in the future. So we need to adopt an attitude that embraces change. Now, again, we want to shy away from changing for the sake of change, but when adaptability calls us to action, we need to be ready to do that. After you adjust your own mindset and you think a little bit more like Napoleon, Napoleon has a great quote where he says, "A leader has a right to be beaten, but never surprised."
Yeah.
Which means the leader's diligence has to be into research and training his troops, gathering the right resources, and making sure you are ready for what is coming. You can get beaten, you can take a loss, but you can't be surprised. That's a fallacy that lures leaders down the wrong path. So brace yourself for this change. Be looking at the resources you need to head into the next year, the development of your staff that you need to gain in order to achieve that next level. Be watching the clients and the market conditions and looking to the future. Do not be stuck down in the daily rut to where you can never get your head up and look out to the future. Adjust your mindset, looking in the mirror, and then seeking to avoid surprises for your company, your team, and your troops.
Well, I it's interesting you talk about team and skills and development and things like that. I want to talk about that a little bit further. When we talk about change and investing in our people, it takes money and time. We all know that. What do you do as a leader when funds are limited, but you still got to get skill development done? How do we enable our people to truly embrace, we really need to do this, and still get the organization to where it needs to be to deliver?
I love that. It's actually a really deep question, but the question has relatively simple answers. Even though they're simple, it doesn't mean they're easy to execute. And so we know that limited resources, time being the most valuable of all resources, you never get it back, right? If you spend and lose a little money, technically you can work a little harder and make more money back, but you can never get your time back. So understanding that an investment in the skill development of your people is a return on its investment, it is exactly that. You have to see the time value that if you take 2 hours a week to sit down and specifically develop the laid out action plan of skills that you're going to impart. So that's number one, get a laid out action plan of how to develop and what to develop, and then dedicate to that plan. Here at CS Business Consulting, the Shelton Associate CPA, in those two companies, we do 2 hours a week, 1 hour of planning and development and 1 hour of delivery. And that's our mentorship program where somebody is always getting developed towards their actionable goals that are written down on an annual basis. Now, we do not do them on a yearly, as far as like New Year's resolution. We do it after tax season in the accounting firm. So after tax season, we assess needs. How did you do in your busy season? Here's your bonus, and here's your action plan for the next 365 days. The best way to start off that action plan and that development is, again, you don't have to pay for some $5,000, $10,000 conference and course for them to fly off to. You can get right down here saying, me, the leader, I'm going to impart my experience and wisdom to you through these regular meetings. I recommend you have a minimum of 3 goals. Goal number 1 is the low hanging fruit. You can actually get this easy win and get it accomplished within a week to 30 days. Goal number 2 is your medium goal, and it should take a little more effort, be slightly more complex. Maybe there's a certification or something like that involved, and it should take 3 to 6 months. And then your final goal should be your 6 month to 1 year. It's going to take more effort. Maybe it's experiential, like you need to lead 10 or 20 meetings by year end, and you need to change 15 client relationships to this status, and that takes time and development. But now you have metrics, you have something that's obtainable, you have something that you can check in on the calendar for accountability, and you can brace for all of these changes. Now, dial that down in a little bit more specific. If you look at the market as a leader, you have a mindset that the attitude is we have a new economy, a new political realm. We have digital assets going crazy in the world right now. The market is mostly up, but sometimes down. How do I adapt and adjust? You now can put your goals in accordance to, I need somebody to learn this new realm, and you're the person, you're the guy, you're the gal that's going to do it. So
You
you
know,
can.
you're right. And not only about, as we start to talk about getting ready for all those conditions, one of the big things that we know is happening today that I'd be remiss if I didn't even bring up is AI. And as AI is coming and expanding and doing more and taking more, the word for some of the employees is fear. I'm scared my job is going to be replaced. I'm scared, how I'm going to be able to prosper and move forward. Well, as a leader, sometimes AI can do that function. So, how do we prepare the organization? As we know, yes, things may change, but you may not be doing what you were doing yesterday because AI is complementing what was doing and making it more efficient. But you may be doing something else tomorrow so that we don't have this fear of technology and then people not wanting to embrace it to move forward. I'd love to get your insights on that.
Great question. So the key word you just said was embrace. Go back to the very beginning of the conversation that we started having. Embracing change is a mindset you need to have. I promise you, if you, in whatever industry you are in, do not embrace AI technology in some capacity, you're going to be left in the dust. Okay. The second component to that is AI is not here to replace humans. It cannot do it. Even if it can do it in some capacity, it is years away from that. You will always need the human touch to massage a relationship. You'll need the human touch to finalize and verify and deliver certain final products, and it needs to enhance what you do. So go back to that attitude of preparation. How am I communicating very transparently with my people where technology fits in my business, my industry, and specifically on your team and your job role? And we may no longer have to really sharpen ourselves in certain skill areas, but instead understand the syntax that communicates with AI so I can deliver clear prompting instructions to get exactly what we need out of something that can do the work much faster than me.
And that's really true because when you think about AI is a memory. It just learns what you do, it gets information, it continues to move forward. And obviously you can leverage that for your culture, your products, your services in terms of as you continue to move things forward. And one of the things I know as I think about leadership in this realm is that one of the ways we prepare people is that we say, look, I'm going to be honest with you. These 3 jobs that did this 8 hours a day, no, we don't need it, but we're going to upskill, give you skills that you're going to be able to leverage this. And now we're going to take you to the next level up. as you leverage this to do this different job and capability. So you're learning something, you're growing, you're developing. And it's not this sense of, where we sit and talk about, I go to work and I make everybody else money and give them all of my intellectual property, but not feeling like I'm getting fulfilled. And I think that's going to play a large role in people staying at a company, right? Because change can also be people leaving as much as, having other opportunities and being prepared for that. What do you think leaders need to do in order to get prepared for that potential change?
I think empowering your people is super important. So again, crossing over from AI, if you have somebody that has the fear of AI technology, maybe you empower the person that's hesitant along with the person that's excited for AI technology. You two team up. Here's a 30, 60-day free trial with this AI platform. Play with it, plug in these metrics right here, and see how it can enhance your position and our company in general. And if I can enhance your position, I can elevate you along the way. So there's got to be a loyalty factor, empowering factor that if I'm able to implement this, a rising tide lifts all ships, not just the main one in the fleet, right? And so explaining that to your people, hey, you're not just here making money for just me, the big guy in the ivory tower. If I make more money, you make more money. And having that communication, again, fully transparent and how this is going to play into the vision of the company really transforms culture and people's desire to stay versus leave and take their talents elsewhere.
And you said some key words there that if I make money, you make money. Number one, you're sharing what you're doing. You said another thing about culture, right? And getting the culture right because it does impact from a financial perspective. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. I'm looking forward to continuing our conversation. We'll be right back.